Ratio Sports Network. This show brings the temperature of sports to a whole new level. Whether it's a local opinion or a national agenda, everything is fair game. Remember, everyone has an opinion, but only few can back it up. Now sit back, crank up the volume, and if you think you can handle it, get ready for the heat.
Man, I feel like it's like the Chipmunk song or something. It like speeds up, it slows down, it speeds up. I'm ready to hear like, hey Theodore, hey Alvin, whatever. But this is Heat Ratio Live, Heat Ratio Sports. Tony Jigsaw Cotillo, Al Griffith, Dane Green, the Money Man, Dave Gleckner. Listen, we got the quartet tonight, so to speak. We got the 4-wide box here, the quad box, and we got a lot to talk about. Last night was so fulfilling, man. Like honestly, I went live on the Final Judgment right after the clinching playoff game from the Philadelphia Phillies. It was great, man. We had people checking in from Scotland. It was amazing, my man. CC, if he's tuning in again, great time last night. Brian checking in, all kinds of people checking in, and the Philadelphia Phillies finally. And that roller coaster, we're talking about tonight, that roller coaster, up and down, up and down. I have some thoughts. Everybody's got some thoughts right now in the playoffs. We're going to be interesting. 3-game series, probably going to be St. Louis, but we'll see what happens. And then we get the Philadelphia Eagles, who are elite. Usually we stick to one topic on this show. We're going to have a hard stop because I'm a hip-hop guy. Al's a hip-hop guy. Dave's a little hip-hop guy. Dan, maybe not, but that's okay. We got the BET Awards tonight. Loving it, 9 o'clock. Fat Joe. We got Trina getting the award. You got the 30th anniversary of Loud Records, and they have Woo's performing, Mobb Deep's performing. They got all kinds of ciphers going on, and they got passed away by DJ Cassidy. Afterwards, I was lucky enough to be a part of that press conference. It's going to be a great show. But let's get right into the sports. Obviously, if you're not following Heat Ratio Sports by now, I don't know what the hell you're doing. So make sure you hit the subscription button. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you get involved. Let us know your comments. But right off the bat, everybody knows how I feel. Okay, everybody knows how I feel. So I want to hear what you guys have to say, and then I'll go last because I went first last night. So Dan, Philadelphia Phillies. Let's start right there. They clinch finally. I know it was up and down, but man, your thoughts, man, on the season going ahead, and obviously on the clinch and playoff game that happened the other night.
Well, first off, I thought there'd be somewhat of a negative omen. I was watching, obviously, Nola's perfection there for a while, and he was pitching brilliantly. And I'm going back and forth. I have a streaming, network where I was able to watch the Brewers game, and the Brewers were two outs, losing 4-2, and then there was like a hard hit ball that should have been fielded by the second baseman, led to the tying run. I'm like, oh great, the Brewers are going to come back and win. Something's going to happen with the Phillies in the ninth because that's the kind of year they've been giving us.
Yep.
But ultimately, we won, and I was happy. I'm not going to say I was thrilled because it's nice that we're making a playoffs. It's nice that a new generation of kids, let's face it, get to see postseason baseball. You wonder why the stadium's empty because kids haven't seen baseball, successfully in a dozen years. But my name is Dan Old School, and I'm the old head of the network, and there's still part of me that loves the old format of you just got to win your division to get in. I mean, look at the battle the Mets and the Braves have been having, and one team gets in. That's how it used to be, and that's truthfully how I would like it to be. That's where I'm old school. 1 wild card team, then 2 wild, now 3 wild. It's a bit of a joke. I mean, we're getting in a ridiculous way, but we're in, and I hope we do well, obviously. But in the back of my mind, I'm happy, but I'm not thrilled. It's hard to explain.
It's really not. I get it. I heard it a lot, right? It's happened all day, but hold on. We got breaking news right now. We got Aaron Judge hits number 62. Aaron Judge hits number 62, the American League home run record holder.
That's why my phone was buzzing.
Yes. He just hit number 62. And real fast, if you didn't hear this, and I don't want to ask you guys because you guys are going to get on it like I am, and it'd be another show for another night. But all I got to tell is, Roger Maris Jr., please shut the hell up. Seriously, I don't care. I don't care what you have to say. You're not a part of Major League Baseball. Okay. You're not a spokesperson for the league. I'm tired of hearing you talking about clean players and stuff. You have no clue. For all I know, you did steroids, bro. So at the end of the day, please shut the hell up and let the game be played. I'm tired of it. But anyway, Al, right to you, man. Philadelphia Phillies. What you got?
You sure you don't want some more time?
No, I'm telling you, I'm so.
You haven't went
over it.
off in a while, so we need every once in a while we need a bomb drop by you. You sure?
More airtime to Stephen A. Smith. Like seriously, give me a break.
No, it was great. I seen you pop on, but last night, but it was so great to see everybody celebrating. You got Reese almost breaking out in tears. You see, Segura and JT, just to know the feeling of getting in, man. I felt great for the players. Obviously, I felt great for the city because it's been too long, man. It's been way too long. The owner brought it up last night of just how the great feeling that was in that, 4 to 5 year run that we had of every year we knew we were going to be in the playoffs. And
every year we won the division too.
Yes, it was so much excitement. I want to get back to that. If we could get back to that, the next 4 years running with this again, that would just be a beautiful thing. As far as the playoffs, obviously, I would love to play the Cardinals first. But if we get the Mets, let's go. Because I'm not scared of them. I'm not really scared. And they gotta not be, they can't be feeling good about themselves. How many games lead did they have at one point? 15, 12?
10 and a half. 10 and a half.
10 and a half? 10 and a half on the Braves. And they let them come all the way back. Like, they gotta feel really bad. I mean, they're in the play. I'm hearing rumors on Twitter. They're so upset in New York. Their thought process is like they're not making the playoffs. They're making it, but look the way you're going in. It's like this is garbage. So I would love to play them if we had to. I would love to rip anytime we can rip New York's heart out is a good thing. Well,
Dave will tell you this. Me and Dave. We're part of the Windale Sports family. We got to deal with all these New York fans every single day. Dave knows, whether it be Jason, whether it be Jared, everybody's a New York fan in Windale Sports, obviously, because most of the time that's where they live. But it is nice, Dave. It is nice that we get a little one-up on those Mets guys, isn't it?
It is. And I did the show with Jason last night. He was feeling like shit because they just got swept, and I was feeling pretty good because I was about to drink some pain. But listen, guys, I gotta say, I got 3 boys, right? And Tony, we're not far off with that, but I only had one that was alive during the last go round. And so 2012, 2014 are my 2 youngest, and I sat up with the 12 last night, and I just said, hey man, you just gotta watch this. You might not get it right now, right? But what you're watching is something special because I believe in progression. And that's what happened in 06 when our hearts were taken out. Then we get it in 07. Then, we don't go too far. And then 08, we're World Series, 09, World Series. And then it dipped down the hill, right? I could see that with this team. And how can't you with the players they have around the core and the guys in the wing waiting, Micah Bell, Andrew Painter. They got some special guys that could come up, get them Kyle Gibsons out. But for now, let me just say, I was so thrilled last night. I was so happy. I got goosebumps just because this is a baseball town when we are playing the way that we want teams to play, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you say people aren't showing up here and there. I think a lot of that is based on the play. If they had a home series right now, it'd be sold out. I truly believe that, and I'm just excited for this team. I'm excited for Nola to finally show up in a situation where he was on his back and he pitched the game of his life. I'm happy for I'm happy for JT Realmuto even more than anyone, who just grinds day in and day out and doesn't say a word, but just gives us his best. And Bryce Harper, you invested in this team 5 years ago. Here you go. Or we're on our way. So I'm happy for the team, but I like what Rob Thompson said. We got 13 more.
Listen, I agree with every single one of you guys. I agree with Dan. A little skepticism in my opinion. Say, okay, I'd like to be the NL East winners. Go in there, pump it up my chest a little bit, not this emotional roller coaster. At the same token, a lot of things happened last night that I really enjoyed. And I will say this. I said it in the title. This is the scariest team, in my opinion, in Major League Baseball going into the playoffs, only because they are so streaky. That if they do get ridiculously hot, right, that they're going to be hard to stop. And guess what? In a 3-game series, I will take Nola and Wheeler any day of the week against anybody. And one thing I want to say to you guys is, all this, and I get it's a formality with Rob Thompson, and I got that there was some skepticism, when they went into Chicago again and got swept, and here we go again. What's going on? But everybody needs to pump the brakes a little bit, because quite possibly this could be the guy and the only guy over the last 10 years that could have got them to this point, only because maybe by his laid back mentality and not stressing out over that series and not getting crazy, it allowed them to say, okay, let's find ourselves again. And I'll tell you what he did last night with Zach Eflin, in my opinion,
Yes.
was one of the biggest points of the season. Here's a guy who has been struggling with injuries over the last 2 years. He wanted to build confidence in this player. And what he did was, I don't care who I have. That's going to be my guy closing out the game. Win or lose, he's going to be my guy. And you saw how pumped Zach Eflin acted like he just won the World Series. That is going to pay off so many dividends in these playoffs, whether it be 1 series, 2 series, it doesn't matter. I think it's huge. Dan, I got to ask you this, man. Like, honestly, we threw this out on Twitter, sponsored by J&N Sports Breaks as well. More on that in the middle of the show. But how far, Dan? I mean, like, what do we do? Do we say, are we happy? All right, we're good. We finally got in. But now we want more, right? I mean, are we going to be disappointed if we can't get past this first round?
I think it's how they play, to be honest with you. Your point is brilliant, though, and it's something that I didn't even think of, and I'd love to get all your opinions on it. Dave Robertson scares the hell out of me. I don't want him involved in the bullpen rotation anymore. Alvarado, now Eflin, and Sir Anthony Dominguez. It's a nice back end of the bullpen. And I don't think they had complete faith in Dominguez. He's had a few failing moments lately, and Eflin throws strikes. So this could be like a last second but very well developed plan that's come to fruition. I agree with you 100%. Imagine if all of a sudden Castellanos gets hot, Reese Hoskins gets hot. Bryce isn't really swinging about well. They have, if somehow this excitement of getting into the playoffs gives them that juice that they've been missing. There's nothing. I don't care if you're a professional or a kid. The first time I ever played a game under the lights as a teenager, it was like a different kind of ball game, and I slid head first for the first time in my life. It's like you just change your mindset. So now these are guys that most of them have never been in the playoffs, and now I don't think they're going to be nervous. I think they're going to be so goddamn excited that I expect some guys that are slumping to come out of their slumps, and like you said, that makes them a scary team. But for those of you that want the Mets and you're like pumping your chest, listen, DeGrom and Scherzer are no joke. I mean,
Yes.
DeGrom's got a whip that hasn't been seen since Pedro. So, he's scary good. The Cardinals have solid pitching, but hittable pitching. So if you really want to be a realist, that's the best matchup for us. Obviously, we'll play anyone. Eventually, you'll have to play everyone. But if you want to be a realist and you want to progress through this playoffs, and anyway, let's look at it as a semblance of revenge from the Chris Carpenter game from years back.
I was there.
Yeah. I
Oh,
would, and if Cliff Lee doesn't blow game 6, we don't have to worry about that game 7.
well, that was
So-
5. It was
I'm
game
sorry.
5.
But it's 4-1 lead, and the whole thing could have been done.
Cliff Lee.
Yep, Cliff Lee.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, the bottom line, Tone, I agree with you 100%. You get to the dance, anything can happen. And if you have Wheeler on his game, Nola on his game, now you got to get the bats coming alive, which that was the strength of this team. We talked about it. Its theme Months ago, we thought this team would have 2 home runs a game, have double-digit victories left and right. Who thought there'd be stretches where we couldn't score more than 1 run a game? I think there was like a month where we didn't win a game by more than 2 runs. It was ridiculous. So our bats need to come to life, and I think the playoff energy will have that happen, and who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Adam checking in says, "What's up, boys? Go Birds!" And Phillies, great time to be a Philly fan. He says, "I think the Phillies win 13 more games. Let's go, Phillies." Dan, just real fast on what you said. It's why, I've said this, and I'll go right to Dave, and then we'll go to Al. When we talk about the back end of that bullpen, because I think obviously in order to win in the playoffs, you need to have a strong bullpen. And you have a guy like Thor in the bullpen right now, which is going to be a good thing, right? I mean, listen, the guy to come in to throw 1 inning, I would much like to have him than Nick Nelson come in and throw 1 inning.
Mhm.
So, and at the back end of the rotation, when we talk about the bullpen, David Robertson. Listen, I've said this before, and again, I'm not trying to be stereotypical, but that dude don't scare me. Like, if I'm coming up to the plate and I look at him with his mullet, his high socks, and his 1985 outfit, and he's throwing curveballs, and like, come on, dude, that's not a closer. You know what that is? That's a 7th inning guy. Okay, the closer's a guy who puts fear into opposing batters, throwing
Alvarado,
100, 101 in a 93-mile-an-hour cutter. That's what we need to live or die with Alvarado, in my opinion, in the 9th inning. I think Sir Anthony is shot. I think, unfortunately, the injuries have caught up to him. He looked really good. He got re-injured himself again. I don't think he's fully back. I don't think we can rely on him. So put Alvarado, Dave, in the 9th inning role. I mean, am I wrong here for thinking this?
You're not wrong. Let me just start with one. Eflin won't be the closer, in my opinion. That was hey, you've been here so long.
Right.
I want you.
He could be like a 7th or 8th inning guy.
Could. Yeah, I want you to celebrate with the boys and put your hands up in the air.
Yes.
And I loved it. I loved the strategy.
It's great.
Dude's walking out there with a knee brace. To rely on him night in and night out, I think you're lucky if you get, one night and then the next night's off automatically. So, but to your point, Alvarado absolutely should be the closer. But in this day and age in baseball, there's so many critical plays that happen in the 7th and 8th. I just think we're going to see this like bullpen by committee approach. And I don't hate it because let's be honest, Rob Thompson has pressed the right buttons for the most part. And he doesn't, when he had the tools of, Knebel was pitching okay, right? When he moved out of the closer's role, when he had some of the other tools he could play with, I would have stuck Alvarado there. But now I just think if you're in a high leverage situation in the 7th, I got to bring my man. And that's what happened last night. If you remember, Nola let first and second, was still 1-0. So with that said, I just think it's going to be an approach, but I love Alvarado. I'm with you guys. I would love to stick him back there. If we have the 3-run lead, he's my guy. No doubt about it. But also one quick thing. Listen, you talked about the Mets, Dan. I'm with you. I don't care what people say. I'm not scared, but they beat our butts this year. Let me take the team that we've beaten. We're 4-3 against St. Louis. We have a winning record against San Diego, winning record against the Dodgers. We're just about 500 with the Braves. Just stay away from them. I'm fine. And it's not scared. Please don't. Everybody wants to pump out their chest. No, it's not scared. It's smart. All right. Now it's just smart. I'll take them in a 5 or 7. And wear them down a little bit with DeGrom coming back. I just don't want to see him in a 3-game series. That's my opinion.
Nah, listen, it's not about fear. It's about, like you said, it's like that old cliche saying, work smart, not hard, right?
Yeah.
Work smart, not hard. And again, why do I want to go up against DeGrom and Scherzer? Why? Right? I'll go up against the Cardinals any day of the week before I'll face Arenado and Goldschmidt with my pitchers. I'm good. Like, I want nothing to do with DeGrom and Scherzer. So, Al, momentum, hotness. Who do you think, in your opinion, is going to be the key into where these Phillies go? Whether it be, a guy on the offensive side, whether it be on the bench, whether it be a pitcher. Who do you think is the key for us getting to that next step?
I think it's going to be JT. I think JT has been on fire since the All-Star break. When did that? Wasn't that right before the All-Star break when they had the controversy with the money and didn't go to Toronto? Yeah. After that.
Yeah.
Right after that, he's been on fire. So I think he will be a key, obviously, with his defense and the pitching. To your guy's point about the pitching, he's a pretty loyal guy. I don't know if he's just going to take people out I think he's going to try to trust him.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be to his fault, but I think he's so loyal. He's going to put people in the spots that they've been in all year and roll the dice in it. Hey, we did this all year type of feeling. Let's still keep rolling with it, and let's not change anything. It might be the old school thought process, but I think that's the way he's going to go with it. I mean, we might not all like it, and we like, what the hell are you doing at the TV? But it's worked. We can't get there now and be like, no, let's change the format that he's been rocking with the whole year. We've been thinking a lot of things. Oh, maybe he shouldn't have played tonight. Why did you put him in tonight? Why did you let him start? And just like I can't even remember, one of you guys said earlier, all the right buttons been pushed. And then the guy goes 3 for 3, or a guy goes 2 for 3 in a home run, and or another person goes almost for the cycle, and you're like, damn, he hit the right button. So I think that's the way he's going to go. Alvarado, he pitched one pitch last night. That thing went whoop at the
yeah,
at 101. That was stealthy.
Against Tucker, right?
It was Tucker. Yep.
Tucker's a stud,
too. My God. I know the guy was like, come on, man, that's not fair. Why are you throwing that pitch at me like that? I mean, what can you do with a pitch like that? It's just sick. But I just have this feeling he's going to stay his course.
But
and
can
whatever
I say something
happens,
real
happen
fast?
out of it.
Hey, what's up, man?
Real fast. Listen, Al, I get what you're saying, and I call that managing by numbers, like painting by numbers. Listen, it hasn't worked for them. This is not an on fire ball club that's marching into the playoffs. They've had a really bad stretch of late, and the bullpen has been a part of that issue. So you can't just keep throwing Dave Robertson out there. You have to know by gut that things need to change a little bit. And I think tinkering with the bullpen is essential. And to Dave's point, yeah, Alvarado hasn't really had that that stressful role in the ninth inning. But he's a totally different pitcher since the All-Star break. The best reliever in baseball since the All-Star break. So a high leverage situation, I don't know if that'll bother him at this stage of the game. Because what's more high leverage than having your career on the line when you got sent to the minors and you come back and then you dominate the way you do? So I think the painting by numbers managing style has to go out the window.
Let me ask you,
real quick. Well, I guess we're going to see.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I hope so.
But let me ask you, who was the best reliever in 2008?
Brad Lidge.
Yeah,
no,
Lidge.
Ryan Madsen was by far to me the best.
You know what?
For them.
He was on fire.
Well, but the role.
When Lidge went in, I was scared.
Yeah, well, I mean, Lidge was. You know what's funny about Madsen, and when Tony was talking about the playoffs and anything can happen, and I was talking about the adrenaline. I remember watching Madsen, who was a 93, 94 mile an hour pitcher. All of a sudden, when the playoffs started, every pitch was 97 miles an hour. Yeah. So, to your point, in the playoffs, he was listen. That Romero, Madsen,
playoff adrenaline,
and Lidge were amazing. Okay. So, but I get your point. But we don't. I'd kill to have those two guys in the back of the bullpen. We're talking. We're really only confident right now in oh my God, I'm drawing a blank on Alvarado. That's the only guy we're 100% confident on right now. Now, all these guys, Nick Nelson can, without sweating, throw 97 miles an hour. It's location and control. So, what will the playoffs do? So now he throws 99 with poor location and poor control. We just hope you have to have someone. You have to have someone step up. That team in 08 was special. They rode the consistency of the regular season right into the playoffs. It's interesting. We've got so many strengths, but so many flaws at the same time. You just hope the strengths finally come to fruition that we hoped and expected.
One more quick thing. I remember I didn't write the number down, but remember at the beginning of the season we said how many 10-run games we were going to have. I never looked at them. I know we were pretty close to. I know we're playing pretty close to 10, probably more. But we have not had 3 people on fire all year at the same time. All year. It's been somebody out, this person on fire, this person in the toilet. I mean, we have never had 3. Now imagine if we get at least 3 people on fire at the same time. Very, very, very dangerous.
And things are
Very
contagious in the
dangerous.
playoffs, right, Dave?
Yeah, it's very contagious. And I see your point. We're the 7th leading team in runs scored in baseball. And that's without, like you said, I mean, Schwarber, I think, for an extent, has been pretty consistent with those homers up top. But, he'll go through phases. But we've never paired him up, really. I agree with you. I see Cease talking about Brett Myers. Wasn't he a
07.
starter in
No.
08?
Yeah, Myers was the closer in 07 before we got lit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Good old Brett.
Yeah, interesting.
Good old Brett. I mean,
Good old Brett.
yeah, good old Brett.
Don't take him to Boston. Don't let him go to Boston.
So what I want to say is, we talked about pitching, and I think we know that we're talking about offensive consistency, and I think that's huge. But I mentioned earlier last night, and I want to bring it up again because it just, I was doing some numbers and doing some math, and I know you guys do the same thing. And I was looking at just this lineup as a whole, and you guys talk about consistency, which obviously is right, but the unsung hero of this entire Phillies team is not a player. It's we've talked about Stoutland for the Eagles being the unsung hero of the offensive line, but Kevin Long, what he's been able to do as a hitting coach. Okay, I mean you're talking about they specifically went out and traded for Brandon Marsh, knowing that he looked like crap, he looked like ass, and they say, you know what, we know we can fix him.
The first day we got him, Tone. The first day they got him, Tone, they said, we know what we need to do with him.
Yep.
They said it right the first day, and this kid has done nothing but get better. I ain't mean to steal your thunder.
No, but you're
on
right.
the point with that.
No, you're right. And I mean, this is a guy that was batting almost 300 with us. Okay, he was batting 216. Okay, yes. Bryson Stott was batting 176. Guys were saying this kid shouldn't even be in the league right now. And now look at him. He's hitting home runs in clinching games, right? And then you look at guys like JT Realmuto, completely changed his stance. JT was struggling last year, completely changed everything. And all of a sudden, guess what? JT's a hitter again. All the work he's done with Castellanos to take out that first 3 or 4 months of the year, then finally get him back on track. Kevin Long is an absolute beast. And that's one thing that we had in 2008. We had the coaching, right? We had Charlie Manuel, who was the okay guy. But everything's okay with Charlie, right? Uncle Charlie, everything's okay.
Yep.
Right? It's like the same thing with Rob Thompson, Dave. Everything's okay. You had Jimmy Williams as a great bench manager, okay, a bench coach, right? And you talk about that when you talk about with Dickerson as a defensive-minded coach. You talk about Kevin Long. The one thing, Dave, and I know you heard this too, that I love about Rob Thompson is, number one, he's a baseball lifer. So he's always been around the game. He respects the game. He likes every single angle of the game. And all you hear, Dave, from players that have been on his teams is he has run the best spring training out of any coach they've ever been around. That's huge, Dave. I don't think people are talking about that enough.
Yeah, baseball's the longest sport. We all know that. And you start in February and you end in November now anymore, right? You get about 2.5 months off and, rinse and repeat. And, having that, advantage in the preseason, spring training in baseball to really get, eased in and to really get focused is big. And with Rob Thompson, there's just something like I coach, you coach too, and I know we all have dabbled in it. And everybody has told me at the time, you're so patient. I'm not as patient as that dude. I couldn't shake that dude up, if I even grabbed him. And he has that presence. And it just tells you even a little bit more every single day. They don't want to rip Girardi, but we all know that was the problem. And good on, Middleton, good on Dombrowski. Pulling the plug when they could, because they could have waited. They saw a stretch coming up where there was an easy schedule. And they could have waited and seen if he figured it out, but they didn't. And they trusted Rob, and they trusted that they had a culture issue, and he fixed it.
Yeah, it's a huge point, and I think they're just trying to respect, Mr. Baseball and Joe Girardi, I guess, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm
Yep.
not here to bury Joe
I'm
Girardi.
with-
I'm happy we're here, Dave. You know what I mean? I'm happy we're here. I think we all know it worked out. And listen, it was all about, Joe, I think, was more focused on 100% analytics. He wasn't willing to kind of bend over and go back and just play baseball. And I think you get the best of both worlds with Rob Thompson. But speaking of analytics, make sure you check out our boys at J&N Sports Breaks, because the sports card industry is completely booming, and now is the time to start collecting again. I started collecting again. I know Dave dabbles in it. I know Dan's got a collection. I'm sure Al and his grandson do the same thing. And that being said, J&N Sports Breaks is a Facebook page where it all comes full circle, started by John and Nick, two blue-collar guys from the tri-state area. Local guys can't get no better than that. We talk about small business every single day. This page creates a fan-friendly atmosphere while giving the collector what they want. Whether you're new to the hobby, seasoned collector, they have a break for you. Make sure you're following today for all their free promos, games, and giveaways. Follow them at J&N Sports Break on Facebook. You can follow them at J&N Sports Breaks on Twitter as well, and at J&N Sports Break, all one word, on the Whatnot app. Okay. And again, as a bonus, mention this ad and you receive $5 off your first break. I'm telling you, they're doing dice games now. They're doing Texas Hold'em when it comes to sports breaks. It's really, really cool. So make sure you check them out today. So let's pivot here. We're halfway through the show. We got about 10, 15 minutes left.
Tone,
Go ahead, Dave. What you
can I
got?
just ask one?
Yeah.
I got you guys fired up a little bit last week. I want to throw you just a little chin music real fast. I want your
Little
opinion.
HBK.
Who is the home run leader in Major League Baseball?
Judge.
Who has the all-time record for most home runs in a season?
Come on, man.
Bonds.
It's Bonds, right?
Absolutely. It's 100%
good.
Barry
Yeah.
Bonds.
All right. I just didn't know where after seeing what Judge did tonight. To me, it's still Barry Bonds. You can do what you want with the roids. I get it. I think they all were pitchers too. So they were trying to throw them out.
No, I completely concur. I'm a huge Barry Bonds guy, and I think what we need to do is I want to do a show just completely on that topic. Because I think it's a highly debatable show. And again, I think it's rightfully so. It should be. I want both sides, and I get both sides of the argument. I always know that, Dave, you and I both know as coaches, we're always going to get the same argument. Well, what are you going to tell your kids? To follow a cheater, right? It's the same argument I hear all the time. And again, I can't push back against that. I can't. What am I supposed to say? But but you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, the dude still had to play baseball. Okay? Still had to play. There was guys who took roids that sucked ass too that needed a refund. Okay? So it didn't work for them. Okay? So right at the end of the day, I can't just inject the needle in my ass and go out there and hit 500-foot bombs in McCovey Cove. Okay? It just doesn't work. So, yeah, I'm going to get all fired up if we keep talking about it.
No, I love it.
Because it brings up that freaking Roger Maris Jr. cat again.
Yeah, that's why I did it.
You know what I mean?
But you know what's crazy, though? We all, out of the womb, we all knew Henry Aaron, 755, Babe Ruth, 714.
Yep.
I guarantee you 9 out of 10, even solid baseball fans couldn't tell you Bonds' career numbers. Can you guys? I know it. Do you guys know his career home run total?
It's 769.
762.
No, it's still 762, but it's because
like it doesn't roll off your tongue like the other, because he's like been so evaporated from the climate of baseball.
Yeah,
and then listen, I have my issues with Bonds. Don't get me wrong, but the way he's been like totally wiped off the face of the planet with baseball, it's wrong. And you have A-Rod, who's like in a broadcast booth. There's so much hypocrisy. A lot of it goes to not the steroids. They didn't like him as a person.
Personality.
That's exactly.
And that's where it's wrong.
That's where it's wrong. He got away with everything, right? Because he had the smile and he was around doing it. But
no, they nobody liked Barry Bonds. He was always to be remembered for the guy who fought Jeff Kent. Okay, he's always going to be
a nice guy either.
Right? He was a prick. Jeff Kent was a prick. Okay, straight up. All right. So guess what? At the end of the day, everybody's banishing my boy Barry. But there's guys like A-Rod's a nice guy too. I mean, come on, man. Like how about see now Dave's got me on a tangent, but you talk about these guys that are
Good
in
job,
the Hall
Dave.
of Fame, right? That did. Come on, Mike Piazza, Piazza. Okay, Jeff Bagwell, like David Ortiz, who failed a test. Okay, but came back possibly inconclusive. Come on, man. Like you can't just do one dude.
That list is very long, Tone.
Palmeiro's been.
I know.
Yeah,
Palmeiro's been totally wiped out of the conversation too. He killed himself in the grand jury thing.
Listen, last thing I will say, and we're going to have a full episode on this. The last thing I will say is I am not sitting here denying that anybody took any illegal substance. I'm not done. I've never said that. I've never said he didn't cheat. I didn't say I never said anything. All I'm saying is you can't just forget about that era. If you want to label it something different, that's fine. You can't just throw it out. You just can't throw it out because at the end of the day, I'll play devil's advocate for all the people who say, well, he didn't need to do it. You're right. He didn't need to do it. That just shows you how great he actually was as a baseball player because he probably could have done 90% of it, 95% of it, probably without it. Okay. But that's how good he was. We're never, ever going to say it. And last thing I will say, I said that again, but I'm going to say, last thing I will say, who is anybody to judge that everybody is clean? Who is anybody to make that statement? Because guess what? Back in 94, 95, 96, we all said the same thing. So guess what? I know there's better testing right now. Okay. I get it. Listen, again, an International Bulk, just a great book. I just had author Dan Levette on with me on the Final Judgment from MLB Network. He talks about it. Every single chapter in there is a different part of innovation and cheating. And he talks specifically about it. And I asked him about it. He was like, I don't know. He's like, it happened. Like, just let's go over it.
He knew, but he didn't want to say.
What's up?
Sound like he knew, but he maybe didn't want to say.
I mean, listen, all I know is right now the Eagles are clean and the Eagles are 4-0. Okay. The Eagles are 4-0. And the Eagles are, I'm saying this right now, the Eagles are elite. Okay. Right now in the NFC, they are elite. And I'm not going to get on this long with a tangent because listen, this was just another game where they faced adversity once again. My man Glock changed it to the Eagles bandana. I love it. Live on the show. Absolutely great. But they faced adversity again. Doug came in, kicked them in the mouth. Right? Throw a little game plan out. James freaking Agnew. Are you kidding me? Scores a touchdown. Jalen Hurts forces the ball. It gets a pick. The weather's in their face. And then what happens? They settle down. They play their game. Trevor Lawrence looks like a rookie, looks like a young quarterback because Hassan Reddick was all over the goddamn field. Again, Slay goes out. Bradbury steps up. Zach McPherson comes in and plays. Right. I mean, there were so many things, Dan, in this game that just have to make you happy going forward saying, Dan, who is our biggest competition in the NFC?
Well, it's funny. You know me, I'm the sky is falling kind of guy. If you haven't picked up on that, but I'm just saying, just in case you've forgotten.
Florida nice.
But oh my God, don't get me started.
We're back.
God.
Fired up.
Yeah. Anyway, I was not sweating a 14-0 lead. I had total and complete confidence they would come back in that game. I really did.
Tone, our biggest threat, I'm being honest with you. It's what we saw last night. I'm telling you, the right time, that San Francisco 49er team, with those defensive ends, with that running game, I think that's the biggest threat. Forget Tampa. Tom Brady's getting divorced now, and he's just going to be sad for the rest of the year that he gave up that for this year. And I just don't listen. The Arians departure, I think there's just a lot going on there. A lot of injuries. I'm throwing them out. Dallas, forget about it. Green Bay, you got to be kidding me. Like, that dude doesn't even want to play. If you watch him versus New England, he couldn't wait to get out of there. It's San Fran. You asked the question? For me, it's San Fran in the NFC.
No, Al, what do you think, man? Oh, wait, hold on. I like this. Javon checking it. I know. I butcher first names all the time. It's Jamal Agnew. I call it. You're right. Javon, you're right, though. Could be my FFPP for week 5. Never know. 2 touchdowns last week. You never know. And Adam's got to get in our Mr. Joey Gladstone. So cut it out, right? Isn't that what he used to do in Full House? But Al, go ahead, man. Eagles, baby. What you got?
I don't know about San Fran. I got to see more because they're up and down, dude. They play one week, they play like that, trash, and then they get up for the Monday night game. So I don't know. I got to see more of them to know the defense. I was looking at some defensive stats. Oh my goodness, they're playing out of their mind on defense, though. I give them that. But I don't know what I'm going to get out of Jimmy G every week. Is it going to be consistent? Are they going to be well over 500 or going to be close to 500? I don't know. I do know that we're playing very well. I do know that they did exactly what I wanted to see. If you remember a couple weeks ago, I told you I wanted to see some things happen, some bad bounces, an interception. I was not hoping it would be a pick six, but I like that we had to come back from something. We were down 14-0 in the first quarter. They kicked us right in the teeth, and we came right back. Scored, 29 unanswered, something like that? Like, that's what I wanted to see. Everything's not going to go right in this season. Like I said, people got hurt. I said that too. Slay and offensive line. I mean, it was like at least 3 or 4 people went out at the same time. That's a good thing in a positive way. It's a bad thing at that time, but I want to see what we can handle as this season goes along. Everything isn't going to be peaches and cream, and we're going to be scoring touchdowns and bombs away. It's not going to be like that. So you got to see. I want to see how we handle these situations, and we handled it beautifully. Just to go some quick stats. Go ahead. Somebody else go ahead, and I'll come back with some quick stats that you guys are going to love.
All right, yeah, bring us some stats. Go ahead, Dan. We got.
I was just going to say that it's funny. You watch other, we all watch the Red Zone, and I watch every single minute of
Scott
the
Hansen.
game.
7 hours of commercial-free football.
Yeah, but it's funny. Our lines have been, my biggest concern was the defensive line, and almost thinking we had to bring blitzes, but that's been for now not an issue. The past 2 games, they've been like the line of yesteryear with the even Fletcher Cox has had a rebirth. The offensive line is absolutely amazing. They're road graders, and you said, Tone, they're 3 deep at every position, so they're just absolutely amazing. But I'm not trying to be nitpicky, but when you watch, I know you love McVay, Shanahan, and some of the other innovative coaches out there. I do want to see the Eagles mix in a little fancy schmancy every once in a while. They're running the ball well. It's basically run game RPO. I do want to see a little more creativity. And I just, other than that, if the defense holds up, the sky's the limit.
Sky is the limit.
They listen. I think I texted you on that in that Vikings game. This has a feel of a Jalen Hurts totally is breaking out. I was his biggest critic. I never didn't like the guy, but I needed to see more.
Yeah, you said that.
And I'm seeing more. So he's been just, other than Patrick Mahomes and obviously the obvious studs of the league, there's nobody that has been more consistent than this kid.
No.
And you just don't feel there's going to, I mean, if you don't have a drop off in a filthy rain game.
Right. Exactly. I mean, again, that's the intangibles that I specifically was speaking about, when we were talking about Jalen Hurts. Like, this is what he gives you. He knows how to battle back against adversity. And I just love that now everybody's jumping on, right? But that's okay. Bandwagon jumpers, come on, jump on a wagon. I'll be kicking your ass off. That's okay. But let me ask you guys this. Dave, I'll go to you. Because Dan brought it up, because I think this is an interesting scenario. I'm curious of what you think. Now, we know how Howie Roseman works, right? We all know he likes to get in early when we talk about extensions, and there's already that talk, right? A lot of guys would ask me, out of Philly, and would say, hey, when do they re-sign Jalen Hurts? When do you think they make a decision he's going to be a quarterback in the future? I was like, look, week 6 or 7, I think they know. And by week 6 or 7, they know, are we drafting a quarterback? Or are we rolling with Jalen? And at that time, that conversation, Dave, may start about 4-year extension, 5-year deal. Well, I'm curious of what you think, though, because I think Jalen waits. I think Jalen bets on himself and says, you know what? Nah, I'm not going to take the low money offer right now. I'm going to wait. I may even play on a 1-year deal next year at the top 3 values of the quarterback. What do you think he does, Dave?
Well, let's remember this. This is year 3, right?
Yeah.
Is he under team control for year 4?
Yes. But they have to pay him. He's not under team control, I think. I think at the 3rd year, the 4th year, I think they still have to figure out they could tag him or something, right? I forget exactly how it works.
No, I thought it was team control, but
he still has full team control in 4 years?
Yeah.
For the 4th year?
Yeah, but
for a second-round pick, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. That's okay.
And I think, but the way it works is you negotiate that, right? And if you can't negotiate, you probably tag him or you trade him. So
that's kind of
You don't want to you don't want the lame duck status.
The lame duck,
so
exactly.
My thought here is this: with that in mind, I don't think they lock it up this year. This is just Dave thinking on the side here, and I don't think Jalen wants him locked up this year. It doesn't impact his salary for this year because the cap is already set. But then we start talking probably right at the end of the season. I think that's where we'll lock him in. I don't disagree with you. I don't even think if you said we'll know by week 6, we know now.
I think we know now. Yeah.
And just all honesty, I do think we know now. And I think we have a good idea what his value is, and we should lock him up. There's no doubt in my mind. They can build with this team and this coach. And I'm good with him locking him up long term. I just think it'll be done after the season.
I like that idea.
Look what it was doing with Lamar for a little bit.
Coming in next year as the franchise quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, I like that. Al,
I'm sorry,
stats, my man. What we got?
Guys are going to be blown away. First of all, let me remember. I called 29-21 last week.
Yeah, I called 38-10, I think.
I was 31-21.
I'm pretty close to my number the last couple of weeks.
He's not a betting guy, though, Dave. You got to give him a win daily sports subscription, man. You know what I mean?
Good to know.
Yeah. Hurts is 5th in passing right now. My boy that everybody was talking trash about the whole
here we go.
Season, Miles Sanders is the 3rd leading rusher in the NFL. Y'all been trashing
that's a positive for us.
People.
You know what though, Al, real fast?
Go ahead.
And Tony knows this more. This has been the most insane fantasy year. Nobody's stepping up their game as an elite fantasy player. So these numbers are paltry numbers for a normal NFL year. Granted, Miles was terrific last game, but other than last game, I mean, there's no monster at the top of the fantasy board.
You don't need monsters. All you need to do.
No, but I'm saying I'm not like whoop-de-doo, like any other year he wouldn't be 3rd.
Guy. That's because you're not a Miles guy, man.
I'm not anti Miles at all. I've never been. I've never said a negative thing about the guy.
Okay.
I predicted he would have a great year if you remember.
I think anybody can do about.
Remember, Tone? I predicted he would have a great year, and you said it would be Kenny Gainwell.
Yeah,
I'd say that.
No, I did.
Oh, okay. To finish up, Brown is 3rd in receiving yards. So now that's our quarterback, our running back, and our wide receiver, all in the top 5 in their category. The defense is only giving up 18 a game. Can't ask for much more. Now, a lot of other teams are better. Oh, my goodness. I looked at the stats. The stinking Cowboys are doing very good on defense this year. I'm shocked. I didn't see that coming. San Francisco was some ridiculous number 2. I mean, it's crazy. 177 as far as receiving defensive passing yards.
That's
177 low. Is very good. I think I seen that was like top 5. Total offense, we're number 2 in the whole NFL at 435 and averaging 28 points a game and 165 on the ground a game. So stats are very, very good. Well, I think I don't see anything being a problem except for staying healthy. I think if we could stay healthy, I don't see too many people slowing this train down right now, and definitely not the Cardinals.
Well,
And I can't wait till we play Dallas. Oh my goodness!
Well, here's the beauty of some of what you're saying, Al, and what we've all been saying. Thank God Jalen has been a revelation, because it goes to what you just said about defenses. All the teams you mentioned, they have a generational talent. Bosa, Parsons. We have 2 number 1 picks next year. I'm going to ask this to Dave. No offense to my other panelists. Dave, who is the generational D end, outside linebacker stud, other than that kid from Alabama?
Well, Will Anderson is
if we get someone like that, it takes this defense. Oh my God,
it's
goes
funny.
To a whole nother level.
Keep an eye on the kid from Clemson. His sister just died. I'm missing his name, but he held out this week. He's ranked number 5.
But you see my point? That's what we need. We need a monster generational talent on defense, and then the sky's the limit with this team.
We need a Julius Peppers in his prime.
Exactly.
Ooh,
I mean,
we actually need a Micah Parsons.
We don't have that. We don't have that. And right.
Now we also have to count on what's the name going in the tank the rest of the season. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I would love to. I would love it to. I think I seen something like, if right this second we have like the 4th best pick in the NFL.
It's
ridiculous. Something stupid like we got 4 and 30 something right now.
You have maneuverability with multiple draft picks.
Yep. That's why that double doink was so big on Sunday. People were like, "Oh yeah, whatever." Yes. That double doink was enormous for the Eagles. Keep them Saints losing.
Yeah,
$39 million under the cap, and that right there, that is our 2-minute warning right here.
All right,
because I'm going to watch the BET Hip Hop 2022 Awards. I'm waiting for Fat Joe to come up on the screen right now. Cannot wait. But we got the 2-minute warning. We got 2 minutes left. Let's go real fast like we do every week. Dan, I'll start with you. Arizona, Philadelphia Eagles. What do you got for a score?
I think they smack Arizona in the face. I don't, other than Kyler, if Kyler Murray does his schoolyard stuff, a few fluky things could happen, but they're a terrible team. I think they're a bad team. The only thing is the look ahead aspect. I think Dallas is after Arizona. Am I right, Dave?
Yeah. Yes, they are. Sunday
but
night.
I'm gonna go 31-17.
So Dan's got 31-17. Al, what do you got, buddy?
27-16.
Wow, you get some weird scores, man. I like it. 27-16. Dave, what you got?
Yeah, and see, thanks for Brian Brees is the guy from Clemson. Great checking that out for me. That's the guy I'm thinking of. But hey, real quick, I just gotta say, be a little worried. And I know Arizona stinks. I think Cliff Kingsbury is a horrible coach. I think Kyler Murray is a bottom half of the league quarterback. He's just too small. But it's that setup situation that you talked about, Dan. Dallas coming up big. We win this game. We just might have to sweat it out with a little comeback late by Arizona. I'll go 28-24. We win this game. We have margin, and then they do all that stupid stuff. They're one of the best second-half scoring teams in the league. They lose big in the first half. We score a ton in the second quarter. We'll be up. Just got to hold on, and that's going to make us better in the long run.
I like it. I'm going to go 38-28 Eagles. I think we almost hit the 40-point plateau. And Cliff Kingsbury, listen, I feel like every time I walk in a Starbucks, he looks like a barista behind the counter making one of my drinks. So
he's terrible.
And he probably couldn't even get that right. I'll tell you that, because he can't even get the plays in. You already see he's going through. He's just sitting there. Dude, ultimate stiff. Get out of the league. You're going.
Nathaniel Hackett.
No.
Nathaniel's
going to be okay. And the good thing is, listen, we're getting him out. DeAndre Hopkins. He's out one more week.
Yes, that's right.
That's huge.
It is
Zach
huge.
Ertz revenge game.
He'll get his 8 catches and 48 yards and 1 yak. Yeah.
He'll definitely get it.
I love the statement he made about Philly and the Philly fans and the city. I still love Ertz, man. He's still the man.
Don't you feel a little bad? I know we're getting out here, but we traded him to a contender last year, and now we're the contender.
Right. He's like, damn, I could have stayed for all of that.
Well, here's the thing though. That's the greatest part about what we do, right? Because Zach Ertz, Zach and Julie, they've done a tremendous part in the community. And still do to this day. So yeah, he's just a tremendous person. He's a forever Eagle, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's a forever Eagle. So as always, Adam, real fast, Adam's got 3210. He's part of the family, so I'll make sure I write down 3210 for Adam, and we're gonna see where we end up next week. For everybody, Heat Ratio Sports, J&N Sports Breaks. As always, make sure you stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll catch you back here next Tuesday.